Over to you, Brother Piya.
Thank you, Sister Wendy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami, dhammang saranang gacchami, sanghang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami, tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Panatipata viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Adinnadana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Kamesu miccachara veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Musawada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Surameraya majjapamadatthana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, now let us prepare ourselves for a short meditation. As always, even when you're doing at home, spend a few minutes or even longer to check your posture. It's very important. At the start, check your posture. Because if your posture is bad, then you tire easily. Pain comes easily. Find a comfortable chair or a comfortable cushion on the floor. Usually, if you sit on a cushion and your knees are lower down, a bit at an angle, you'll be more comfortable. So adjust, experiment until you find the right posture that suits you. Otherwise, choose a chair. The height is just that of your lower legs. So when you sit, your legs touches the ground. Hands, palms together or on your laps. Keep your torso, your upper body upright. Relaxed. Slightly look down, just slight, looking down about, say, 5 feet in front of you, 3 to 5 feet in front of you, and it's best to close your eyes. If you feel sleepy or you prefer to open your eyes, then keep it half open, looking down all the time. Don't look around, you'll be distracted. Today we'll do a session of loving kindness. In loving kindness, we'll build up this sense of joy inside you by beginning to build up this loving kindness inside yourself and then send it outwards. So you must have the joy, peaceful feeling inside you, and then feel it. That's how you share it. You notice sometimes when you meet people, you can sense the kindness, the goodness in the person. So we are capable of doing that. Animals can sense this very well. We begin with happy words. I will teach you a few, like 3, 4, 5 sentences. You only need to use two or three at the most, or 1 or 2 also can. The idea is to repeat those words and to help you feel that joyful state of self-acceptance. Just to be yourself. Be happy right now, sitting here, doing nothing except watching yourself, cultivating loving kindness, building up this joyful state inside you, down to your cellular levels. So it's like purifying your body. You can start off by saying, may I be well. May I be well. Repeat this 2-3 times or more. Repeat this rather as many times as you like. Say the words, smile, feel it. May I be well. Smile, feel it. You can smile anytime. May I be happy. May I be happy. Say the words. Smile. Feel it. May I be at peace with myself. May I be at peace with myself. Smile. Feel the peace inside you, all around you. I accept myself just as I am. I accept myself just as I am. So choose a couple of sentences that you like, or you can even make your own. For example, if you want to overcome certain negative emotions, you can phrase them. May I be free from anger. May I be free from anger. Smile. So that's one way. Or sometimes with children, they have fear. May I be free from fear. May I be free from fear. You can, of course, simplify the words for children. May I not be afraid. May I not be afraid. May I be strong. And so on. You can simplify the words, which is easy for them. Simple, short sentence. Then smile. Feel the joy, the peace throughout your body and mind. Even at this stage, if you like, some people, they like to visualize. You can visualize a beautiful white lotus flower in the center of your heart. This is to help you focus on something tangible, something palpable. Your loving kindness is this beautiful white lotus. The lotus is opening up, or just picture this beautiful open lotus. If you can't do that, go to the garden one day, look at this beautiful open lotus. And this lotus is becoming bright, shining. This light is your loving kindness. This lotus in the center of your heart is very bright, very shining, radiant, shining with the light of your loving kindness, brightening up your whole body and mind with loving kindness. Such a happy, joyful feeling. Smile. Now in the second stage, picture your best friend, a relative, a friend, or a teacher, someone you feel very close with, comfortable with. This person is always kind to you. Someone still living, still alive. Picture this person sitting in front of you or beside you. If you can picture, it's all right. Use the name and tell this person, just like what you did earlier, may you be well. May you be well. Say the words and then shine the bright light of loving kindness on this wonderful person. Smile. May you be happy. May you be happy. May you be at peace with yourself. May you be at peace with yourself. I accept you just as you are. I accept you just as you are. Smile. Once again, just choose a couple of sentences. Send your loving kindness out to this wonderful person, this best friend. Don't put your spouse or partner or girlfriend, boyfriend at this stage yet, too early. Only when your loving kindness is strong, you send it to those people you're very close with in an intimate way. Now shine the bright light of your loving kindness outwards to the whole room, the space around you. May all the beings in this area, your area, wherever we are, wherever you are, may all the beings here be well and happy. Smile. Then slowly extend the brightness to shine, brighten up the whole house or the whole building, wherever you are. May all the beings, may all the people in the next room, in the whole house, be well and happy, and so on. Here I'm teaching you the steps. When you do on your own, you can take more time. And the people in the neighborhood, areas around, or the other units in your flats, on your ground, on your floor. If you're on the ground floor, then just spread your loving kindness all around. If you're in a multi-story flat, first the whole floor, and then upstairs, downstairs, upstairs first, and then only downstairs, all the floors below. And then the neighborhood and so on. So you can do it as elaborately as you like in detail, or you can simplify it. May all the beings nearby be well and happy. May all the people living in this area be well and happy. So different ways of doing it. Important thing is focus your mind, shine the bright light of loving kindness outwards. And then slowly the whole state, your whole area, whole country, everyone in this country, or you can go stage by stage like the sun rising. Shine your loving kindness over bigger area until you cover the whole country. And this is where you can start thinking of sending your loving kindness to people in different parts of the country that you can remember. Anytime now, you can also picture your loved ones one by one, or as a group. And wish them well and happy, as if you are talking to them. Sometimes your loved ones or your friends may be elsewhere. So when you reach that area, picture them. Wherever you are, or wherever you know these people you're thinking about, wherever they are, when you reach that area mentally, picture them, send your loving kindness to them as if you are talking to them, wishing them well and happy. Don't worry about being exact number of people. Whoever comes to mind, send your loving kindness to them. Loving kindness is especially a good way to send your kind thoughts to people who are not well, people who are sick, or people who have some kind of difficulty. Or some families who have some friends who have suffered some losses. They need your support. It's a good way to send your loving kindness to them. This is called the directional method. Directional method. In other words, you go by area. You can also, if you like, at different times, do the personal method. Just think of the people who need your thoughts, your kind thoughts, and send it to them accordingly. So it's very flexible. Now, since we are on Zoom, we have to do this very special stage. Just be aware of your connection, your cyber connection with so many people all over the world, but different parts of the world. Such a wonderful, special connection we have right now. Some of us have never met before. And this is a very wonderful, joyful, loving kindness connection. This is the next stage. I'm sending my loving kindness to you now, to each of you. May you be well. May you be well. You've been an old friend, someone, even though I may just know you, have known each other in past lives. That's why we are here. May you be well. May you be happy. May you be at peace with yourself. So there's a joy to remember you, to remember our friendship. May you be happy. Smile. Say these words to others around you. You may or may not know them, but you have been your friends. May you be happy. May you be happy. May you be at peace with yourself. May you be at peace with yourself. I accept you just as you are. I accept you just as you are. And now we send our loving kindness throughout the world. This is called breaking the barriers, and it's the most important stage. Shine the brightness of your loving kindness frontwards. May all the beings in the front directions be well and happy. May all the beings in the directions to the right be well and happy. Shine your loving kindness to the right, right to the end of the universe. May all the beings in the directions at the back be well and happy. May all the beings in the directions to the left be well and happy. May all the beings in the directions above be well and happy. May all the beings in the directions below be well and happy. May all the beings everywhere be well and happy. May I be well and happy. Now bring back all the bright light of loving kindness back into your heart where it comes from. This is to remind us we have loving kindness always there in our heart, in this beautiful white lotus, a radiant lotus with a bright light of loving kindness is always there in your heart. Now we review our practice, remember the peaceful moments, remember this wonderful feeling of loving kindness. Even for a split second you felt good, remember it. This is the seed. It will help you in your future meditations. Whenever you need inner peace. If you have difficulties, also remember them, mentally note them so that you know what to do next time, or find out how to correct those difficulties or distractions. Now, before we end, just open your eyes. And this is a short session of just sitting quietly. We begin our meditation slowly, gently. We end it also slowly, gently. Okay, sadhu, very good. Let us now go on to the study. Okay, section 22 on non-self. Right, for those of you who have just joined us, make sure you watch the first video so that you know what we studied before this. It's about this monk with this wrong idea that sensual feelings, even sexual feelings, sexual act is all right, it's nothing wrong, after all humans do it. Even stream winners can get married and so on, things like that. So he has this wrong idea that even as a monk, he could have all these experiences. And the Buddha said, I've never taught this, So in fact, the Buddha says he's been teaching that as a monk, you should not do all this, because the monk's training is going to deep meditation, to be free from the body, be free from the five senses, so that the mind is truly joyful and happy and is able to attain jhana. And with that, to reflect, to use that peace and reflect further on the nature of suffering and non-self, and then attain nirvana, attain arahatu. So here the Buddha goes on to teach the monks the finer points of the Dharma. Here more about letting go of the idea of self, the practice of non-self. Okay, so look at 22. Bhikshus, you may well take hold of that possession that is permanent, everlasting, eternal, unchanging in nature, that would endure eternally, the same just like that. All right. So here the Buddha is teaching something new, because this monk has a wrong idea about sexuality and so on. Sexuality is a very powerful feeling. It's very, very self-centered, And so if you have this idea of self, then you tend to say, I like this, I want that, and so on. So here the Buddha is going deeper. He's saying, if there is something that's really permanent, everlasting, that it'd be good if you can have that, isn't it? But, there's a big but, next line. But do you see any such possession, bhikshus? Do you see anything that you can have which is eternal, which is forever? Is there such a thing? I mean, people sing songs like, I will love you forever, and this is forever. It's a way of talking, yes, but the reality is not so, right? But do you see any such possession? Bhikshus are the monks. The Buddha is addressing us through this term. Do you see anything that is permanent, everlasting, eternal, unchanging in nature, that would endure eternally the same just like that? Now you notice these words are italicized, they're slightly bent. Right? That means this one is repeated above, right? So don't jump to the conclusion that you don't have to read this. It means you should know that they are repeated, because the repetition is like puja. It helps you to remember. Okay, this is a psychology of memory, by repeating. Only after you have been repeating this thing, you look at it and you know, oh, this is what it means. So in your mind, in your heart, okay, this is impermanent. Right? So don't make the intellectual mistake of saying, oh, I know this one. I know, that means you let go. That means you don't know. This is a fatal mistake when it comes to learning. So remember, that's why the italicized words are there. It's so that you don't have to read everything and become bored and then lose interest. No? So it's to help us, those who are reading, for easier reading. All right, so the Buddha says there's nothing permanent you can really hold on to. So the monks answered, no such thing, Bhante. Then Buddha said, good bhikshus, I too do not see anything like that. So here you see this question answer. The Buddha is reaffirming the Dharma, the teaching of something impermanent. This is a reflection on impermanence. So this is one way of reflecting on impermanence. There are many ways. Okay, now the Buddha goes on to the next point. Section 33. Bhikshus, you may well cling to the self-doctrine, idea of self, or soul, if you like, that would not cause sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair to arise in one who clings to it. Right? So the Buddha said, if there's such an idea of yourself which you can hold on to, and that idea is so good that you will not fall sick because you have full control of yourself. Is there such a thing? Of course, the monk say, no, Bhante, no, Bhante. Further down. Then the Buddha responds, this last line will be italicized, Buddha repeating the same thing. Good bhikshus, I too do not see any doctrine of self that would not arouse sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair in one who clings to it. Right? So the problem also is the clinging to it, the causes of suffering, because there's nothing there. So even the idea of self doesn't help, because our self changes. 24. Bhikshus, you may well rely on that support of views that would not cause sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair to arise on one who relies on it, right? So here, in other words, you accept a kind of idea, and that idea is real by itself. Is there such a thing? Again, the monks understand, these are the good monks, Bhante, and the Buddha says that's the way it is, right? 25. Bhikshus, if there were a self, would there be for me what belongs to myself? So if there's a self, of course there'll be something that really belongs to me, that I have full control of. Then the monk of course say, yes, Bhante. Remember, this only if, no? Or if there were what belongs to self, would there be myself? So, yes, Bhante, right? So this idea of really owning things, this idea of owning it's a conventional idea. We are raised with that kind of idea. This is yours, this is mine, okay, something like that. But then we lose these things, or people steal it, right? Or it breaks up. So all that we can say is we can use this thing. So the idea of I have this is just a conventional thing, right? 25.2. And Bhikshus says, since in truth and reality, one can find neither self nor what belongs to self, then this ground for views. So what the Buddha say, okay, now since there is really no self or anything that can be said to belong to a self, then you can't say the following things. This world is the self. After death, I will be permanent, everlasting, eternal, unchanging in nature, eternally the same. I will endure eternally the same, just like that. Although some people believe, oh, after they are dead, they will live forever. Body dies, but the soul lives forever. Then the monks reply, what else could it be, Bhante? It would be, Bhante, an entirely, completely foolish teaching, right? So, I mean, it's not, cannot be the case. It's the wrong idea. Okay, now the Buddha goes on to talk about the five aggregates. This is because the five aggregates are what really exists in a manner of speaking. Yeah, all there is are the five aggregates, and if anything is permanent, they're the things that would be permanent. But are they really permanent? So here you see big number 26, and you see brackets 1. The brackets there's 1, 2, 5. It shows there's a set of five aggregates. Bhikshus, what do you think? Is form permanent or impermanent? Okay, here's question answer. We have done this before, if you remember, when we studied the Untitled Sutta. Impermanent, Bhante, the monks reply. Is what is impermanent painful or pleasurable? Painful, Bhante, sister, replies the monks. What is impermanent is painful, especially in a mental sense. It's also painful in a physical sense. Although we can be happy, very soon when that feeling is gone, we suffer, right? So pleasure is the opposite, is the absence of pain. Pain is the opposite or absence of pleasure. They go together like two sides of a coin. When you have one, you have the other. Is what is impermanent, painful, and subject to change, fit to be regarded thus? This is mine, this I am, this is myself? No, Bhante. No, Bhante. Okay? So this is form, this body is like that. We, in a sense, we can only use this body. It doesn't belong to us. We of course, we stay healthy. Like some people have this wrong idea. They think, oh, the Buddha teaches us no self, so we won't care for ourselves. The Buddha is not saying that. He's saying that the body is like this. You can't own it, but you still got to take care of it. Although we live in a rented house, you still got to take care of it, right? Then bhikshus, what do you think? Is feeling permanent or impermanent? So it goes on like that. We have done this before, right? So I'm not going to go through all the words. I'm going to summarize for you, help you remember. So feeling is impermanent, right? So if it's impermanent, it's going to be painful, right? And if it's like that, you cannot say, oh, this is mine, I am this is myself. Number 3, brackets 3, is the same with perception, but how you see things. Recognition, right? Also impermanent. We perceive something wrongly. We say, oh, how silly of me, right? So that's just a mental kind of pain. You got physical pain, you got mental pain. Formations, right? Number 4, brackets 4, formation of karma. Okay. So here is there is good karma, there's bad karma. Okay. Now, some of you may say, wow, okay, we get good karma, right? So we should be happy, right? Yes, very true. We should be happy. But suppose your good karma is such that you may get lots of good food, but you keep on getting good food. You keep on getting good food. It's a good karma. After a while, you find, oh, you don't like that kind of food because it's the same kind of food, right? So, and sometimes you get so much of the good karma, you don't even have the time to enjoy it. I mean, look at all the rich people. They have lots of money, yes, and but they don't need so much money to be happy. You don't need so much money to spend, right? And then you find that you got a lot of false friends, a lot of situations, and so on, right? It's not that being rich is not good. You got to be wise also in being rich. When we have a lot of money, it means we can do a lot of good deeds. That's something different, right? So we have to understand the nature of the suffering nature of having things, the unsatisfactoriness of having things, the impermanence of having things. Then the formation is the last one. Yeah, consciousness is not mentioned because it's a bit tricky here, so the Buddha left out consciousness, but it's understood. sorry, it is there, number 5. No? Consciousness number 5, you can see there. So it's not left out actually. I am conscious, you are conscious. We think like that. But consciousness is this flowing thing, flowing, changing all the time. So we cannot stop and say, that's it, that's me, this part, the consciousness is me. So it doesn't work that way. Consciousness is something changing. And because it's changing, in that sense, it's painful. Oh, I like that consciousness, but that's God. This is something else, okay? This awareness through the senses, eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. So consciousness arises through the senses. It's always awareness of something. Now I'm going to talk in great detail about this in the talk on the 5 aggregates, the BMM series, the Buddhist mind meditation series. So those are the 5 aggregates. But let me at this point tell you something very interesting I was reflecting on today. There is this famous humanist psychologist called Eric Fromm, who once said something like this. I can't remember the exact words. He's saying that if we define our happiness by what we have, if I am only what I have, if all I am is what I have, then if I lose all that I have, what am I? Wow, this is a really fantastic, profound thing to think about. In other words, let's say all that we have. What's it all that we have? You can say a house, a car, even people. You have servants and so on, right? So we have a lot of things: stock and shares, a lot of money, power, even. So that's what I have. When you say I have something, it means it's something separate from you. That's the grammar of have. Because you am is different. M is equal. I am happy. It's not outside of you. So if all that we are is what we have, and then we lose all that we have, then what are we? We are nothing, right? Now this thought came to me, another angle of it, the Buddhist angle, when my computer broke down yesterday, So I told myself, wow, this finally after 5 years, this computer is broken down. And then I sent it off for repairs, because there's a guarantee. Then I realized, actually I kept the one drive. I thought all my sutta works are there. Then I checked to my shop, it's not there. All those sutta files are not there. They're all, so logically I told myself, my goodness, it still must be in the computer, and we have sent the computer for repair. Imagine all the work I've done, the master file, we didn't back up the latest ones. The repairman, if he wipes out clean up the hard drive, that's the end of it. No more left of Sutta discovery. Some, 80 volumes and then 10,000 pages. So that's all I have. That's my work. So that's all I have. So I was reflecting, wow, if I lose all that, what is it to me? I am nothing. But then I said, it's an interesting thought. Why is it I should be nothing? I can still rewrite everything. I have the old volumes, and you all still have some of the Sutta discovery, latest ones. I can build up, But that's not the point, you see. I realized that, okay, all this Sutta discovery work is my work, is what I have, is what makes me happy. Now I lose it. So I feel this fear, I feel this sadness, because I've lost something so precious, not just years of work, but something that is so meaningful, so beautiful, that I can share with you, that actually what we all benefit from learning the suttas. So here the meaning is broader. It becomes more painful because it's something that benefits others also. So the suffering is a common one, in other words. So this is another reflection I had. But happily, when I went to the service center today, when we looked at the drive, it's all there. They're actually not one drive, there are two drives. So they both came with the computer. So all my files are intact. Okay, so that's the good news. All right. So, but I don't own these things. This is what we all share. This is our learning process. So this is one way of reflecting it. All right. So in the next part, the totality of the five aggregates. So this is very familiar. This part of the sutta is very similar to the Analakana Sutta, non-self sutta. Therefore, bhikshus, right? So this is the conclusion. The Buddha says, therefore, bhikshus, any kind of form whatsoever, whether past, future, or present, internal or external, gross or subtle, inferior or superior, far or near, all forms should be seen as they really are with right view, right wisdom. Thus, this is not mine, this I am not, this is not myself. See, notice this is not mine, overcome craving. This I'm not, views, overcome views, is not myself. Let go of, what do you call that, mana, okay? Let go of conceit, okay? So this is the reflection on form. This is called totality because the underlying words there define the kind of forms that can exist. First, in time, past, present, future. Internal, external, something that is your sense organ, and then what the sense organ sees outside. This is one meaning. Gross or subtle, something that is mental, and something which is sense-based. Inferior, superior. This one is inferior is sense-based again. Superior is in a deeper level of meditation, like the jhanas. Far or near is quite easy. It's like in space. Okay, something nearby, something in a distance, in another planet, another system. They're still the same. As long as they're formed, they'll be impermanent. So this is a very scientific kind of explanation, in fact. Okay, so same thing applies to feelings. All this totality formula applies to feeling, whether past, future, or present, internal or external, gross or subtle, inferior or superior, far or near. All feeling should be seen. Should be seen. This is your practice. You should reflect. Even feelings, you feel a nice feeling, painful feeling, they should be seen as they really are. This is not mine, this I am not, this is not myself. This is especially interesting because where pain is concerned, this is called disowning the pain. Next time you feel a pain, your knee knock something, and you say, wow, this is painful. So if you start mourning, say, oh, I am painful, why this happened to me, then start blaming people, it's going to be more painful because your mind also is suffering. But if you say, okay, this is just pain, I don't own this pain. I don't want to own this pain. Or you don't have to say I, me, mine. Even just say this pain, I'm letting go of it. Not mine, not mine, right? And you'll be surprised the pain goes away much faster. So this is a way of healing yourself. Same thing with sadness also. It's a bit more difficult, but it's possible if you do your meditation well. Sadness comes, this is sadness, I'm letting go of it. I don't want to own it. Not mine, letting go. Next is perception, how we recognize things, remember things of the past. Same thing. Any kind of perception whatsoever, whether past, future, or present, internal or external, gross or subtle, inferior or superior, far or near, all perceptions should be seen as they really are, with right wisdom. Thus, this is not mine, this I am not, this is not myself, right? Look up the details in the talk on the non-self, on the Untitled Sutta, with the more details there. And then formation, same, right? So whether they are past, present, future, and so on. Okay, apply all that. Consciousness also, whether they are past, present, future, internal, external, gross, subtle, inferior, superior, far or near. We have to let go of them. This is not mine, this I am not, this is not myself. Now the Buddha says, if you do this, 28 rather, seeing thus, bhikshus, an instructed noble disciple is revulsed at form. Revulsed, that means you know it's as it really is, you're not going to be cheated by it, you keep your distance, you have renounced it. That's meaning of revulsed, yeah. See, very often intellectually we will say, wow, this is not a very good word. It's not politically correct, and this and that, that's your political, that's your intellectual take. In other words, you remain ignorant. Knowledge is very often our greatest hindrance because we think we know and then we stop knowing. There was once, I never forget, I met someone and I was shocked when this person happens to be a Buddhist, he was talking Buddhism to someone else. So I said, oh, you're a Buddhist? I said, yeah, and I said, oh, I'm Buddhist too, and so on. He was not very impressed, then he told me, he said, oh, I told him I'm doing sutta work. I said, oh, I've learned enough already, he said. So I didn't have to learn anything. His actual words. So I said, oh. Then there is no more reason for me to talk with him. He says, I know everything already. I don't have to learn any more things. Sounds as if he's enlightened. So that's a wrong attitude. That means you've stopped learning. So this word revulse has a very powerful meaning. It means when you really know what is suffering, you understand it, you really know what the five senses are, how they are, you really understand it, you keep your distance and say, okay, I know what this is. I'm not going to get excited about it. I will respect it. Respect it means you see it for what it is, right? Same thing with feeling. You know what feelings are. Don't get carried away by them. They are there. Deal with them. Respect them. Okay? Then you are in a better position to counsel people, help them because you know what they really are. Same thing with perception, right? How people recognize things, how people evaluate things. Formations, jumping to conclusions about things and, letting greed, hatred, delusion take over. These are negative aspects. Then the last one is consciousness, same thing. Whatever arises at your senses, sense doors, seeing, smelling, tasting, touching, thinking, and so on. All this, let them come, let them go. Right, so then the Buddha goes into detail on the revulse aspect, nibbida, revulse aspect. You can see the Pali words on the right-hand side. Feeling revulse, last fades away. Right? So when you understand the five aggregates as they are, form, feeling, perception, formation, consciousness, right? All this will fade away. Through the fading away of lust, he's freed, right? So, in other words, when you don't have this feeling of being drawn to any of the five aggregates, desire for them goes away. And when the desire has gone away, you feel free, right? And when he is freed, when you are freed, there comes the knowledge. It is free. In fact, the Pali word, if you look there, vimutang, that means free. Okay, it is free. So, or just free, so can just free. Okay, so in other words, we don't add any other words, it or my whatever, my mind, or free. Okay, the sense of freedom. He knows birth is destroyed. The holy life has been lived. Done is what is to be done. There is no more of this state of being. This is the famous statement that comes to the mind of an arahat. Okay, this basically the Buddha is talking about attaining arahathood. Then the Buddha describes the arahat. Because this monk is said to be one who has lifted the crossbar. These are technical terms, so I just can simplify them for you. Crossbar is something, a bar that prevents you from moving ahead, so that is removed. So too is he one who has filled the moat. A moat, as you know, it goes around like a castle or city to protect it. So the moat is filled up. That means you can cross over safely. You're no more left outside the city. You're safe inside the city. Security. So too is he one who has dug out the pillar. Okay, here it means it has conquered the city, because this pillar represents the city's strength. So it is pulled out and you overcome. It is a military kind of idea. So too is he one who has unbolted the door. That means the door is open. You can go out, free yourself. So too is he the noble one whose banner is lowered. That means no more war, no more battle, peace. Okay. So too is he one who has put down the burden. Like we have reached our goal, no more heavy things to carry, put it down, you feel very relaxed and happy. So too is he unfettered, no more all this tied down by ball and chain and so on, like a prisoner. You're free. So these are all ideas of freedom. No? And then now there you are. I see the Buddha explains, they're all similar here. These are stop passages. Just look at one and the rest you kind of repeats himself. Look at 31. And how bhikshus is the monk one who has lifted the crossbar. Here bhikshus, the monk has abandoned ignorance. Okay, this is the key one, underlined. Okay, the only difference is this keyword. Cut off at the root, made a palm tree stump off, done away with it. So this is a symbolism of really uprooting the problem, solving the problem at the root, not just outside, not just the top part. You know, like lalang, you cut the lalang, even on the ground level, the roots are still there, it will grow again. So this one, the ignorance is uprooted, even the roots are pulled out. So it is no longer subject to future arising. That is how bhikshus, the monk is one who has lifted the crossbar. Another word for arahat. And then next one, the first two lines are the different ones. And how bhikshus is the monk one who is filling the mode. Here bhikshus, the monk has abandoned the rounds of rebirth. So the meaning here is no more reborn. The mode is filled. Okay, so it doesn't go round around the mode, so to speak. Then 33, and how bhikshus is the monk one who has dug out the pillar. So this pillar is solidly buried, very strong in the ground. So it's dug out, that means no more craving. Craving also is very stubborn. It's kind of, you know, takes a stand. So this arahat has overcome craving. Then the next, and how bhikshus is the monk one who has unbolted the door. Here, bhikshus, the monk has abandoned the 5 lower fetters. So this 5 lower fetters means that this person is no more, will no more be caught in being reborn in a sense world, like in our world. It becomes a non-returner upwards. This I've dealt with detail in another series of talk. I think it's called TPP series, TPP 2021. Okay. Then 35. And how bhikshus is the noble one who has taken down the flag, has put down the burden, is unfettered. Or this one is kind of the two symbolism in one. Here, the monk, the arahat, has overcome the conceit, I am this, I am that. No more narcissism, right? It's cut off at the root. It's totally free. Then the Buddha says, 36, this to conclude the first, all these various qualities of the arahat. Bhikshus, when the gods with Indra, with Brahma, with Prajapati, and these 3 gods I mentioned because they're very popular during the Buddha's time. So the Buddha said all these 3 powerful gods. Why these 3? Indra is Sakra. He's the king of the worldly gods, if you like. These 2 heavens are very close to Earth. Okay, the heavens of the 4 guardian deities and the 32 heaven, the 32, they are said to be earthbound heavens. Okay, so Indra or Sakra is the head of those 2 heavens. Then Brahma is the lord of the higher world, the form world. Then Prajapati is said to be those non-Buddhists believe he's like a creator. So here, to the Buddhists, he's just one of those leaders who sit with Sakra also and ruling the gods. So basically here, what the Buddha is saying is even these high gods, you know, when they see such a monk who's an arahat, freed in mind, they do not find anything of which to say that this is the sort of thus gone one's consciousness. Why is that? One thus gone, I say, is untraceable here and now. Untraceable. You will never find where this Arahant has gone to. You will never see the consciousness of the Buddha anymore. It's totally free. No more suffering. Okay? All right. It's time for a break now. Then after that, we finish a bit more and then go on to question time. Okay?
Okay. Thank you, Brother Piya. Everyone, we will have a 5 minutes break now.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, let's continue and finish off with a few more pages and then go on to question time. Section 37, Misrepresenting the Tathāgata. Tathāgata is a common term representing the Buddha. Originally, this Tathāgata simply means those who arise in this world, those who are born. But here, it specifically refers to Buddha. So very often you see the Buddha using some very common terms. And then we have this idea that, wow, this term has become very big and very special. The Buddha uses this common term to show that the kind of existence that he has come to, being arising in this world, is the same just like any other being. The special thing is he found out the way out of suffering, awakening. Now, in this section, the Buddha is reminding us not to say wrong things about the Buddha, not to say, oh, the Buddha taught this, Buddha taught that, or we should adjust this. This is what the Buddha actually said. We've got to find out from the suttas. Section 37. Saying thus, bhikshus, teaching thus, I have been baselessly, vainly, falsely, and wrongly accused by some recluses and Brahmin thus. The recluse Gautama is one who leads astray, who teaches the annihilation, the destruction, the extermination of an existing individual. All right, so the Buddha says because he teaches anicca, dukkha, anatta, impermanent, suffering, non-self. Some of these priests and Brahmins say, oh, the Buddha is talking about emptiness, about destroying the self. It is 7.2. As this is what I am not, as this is what I do not say, these good recluses and Brahmins have baselessly, vainly, falsely and wrongly accused. Thus, they're talking by attacking the Buddha, saying, oh, he's teaching all these empty things. So here, what is it that the Buddha is saying he's not teaching? Of course, first thing you can go through the earlier all those things which the Buddha said and how the Brahmins and non-Buddhists have misunderstood it. They think that Buddha is teaching non-self means the self which existed before doesn't exist now. Okay, what Buddha is saying, if you look around, you don't see any self. You don't see any self. Yes, when I'm talking, you are talking, we use the word I, but that's just a conventional term to refer to these five aggregates, okay, this assembly of five aggregates. So what the Buddha is saying is, I'm just saying what is there. So it's not what I think, it's not something I wish to be so. Right? It's what is out there, really. Right? So these Brahmins are attacking the wrong thing. 38. Okay, now the Buddha makes this very famous statement. Before bhikshus and now too, I only declare suffering and the ending of suffering. The one teaching of the Buddha, suffering, ending of suffering. So, and suffering here refers to the Noble Truth 1 and 2. Suffering, arising of suffering. Ending of suffering is a shorthand for Noble Truth 3 and 4. Ending of suffering and the path leading to ending of suffering. So this is the famous short statement which the Buddha makes to Anuradha and also here in this Alagaddupama Sutta. Now the Buddha reminds us, the Buddha tells the monks, if others abuse, revile, scold, and harass the Tathāgata for that, The Tathāgata on that account feels no annoyance, bitterness, or no dejection of the heart. If others honor, respect, revere, venerate the Tathāgata for that, the Tathāgata on that account feels no delight, joy, nor elation of the heart. So the Buddha is neither joyful nor sad, like on account of what people say. People scold the Buddha's account, people praise the Buddha's account. If others honor, respect, revere, and venerate the Tathāgata for that, the Tathāgata on that account think thus: it is towards this mind, body of five aggregates that was earlier fully comprehended that they perform such acts. This is very interesting. So, for example, right now, if I were to be very technical with you, this assembly of five aggregates is talking to you. It's a little inconvenient to talk that way, but those are the facts. So the Buddha is saying, all that they are attacking are these five aggregates. If they are praising, all that they are praising are these five aggregates. So that's it. The Buddha says it's not going to get excited about it. Now the Buddha tells the monks, 39. Therefore, bhikshus, if others abuse, revile, scold, and harass you too for that, on that account, you should feel no annoyance, bitterness, nor dejection of the heart. If others honor, respect, revere, venerate you for that, on that account, you should feel no delight, joy, no elation of the heart, right? So whether people attack us, attack the teaching, or praise you for that, just take it as it is. These are all what they're doing is only to the five aggregates. If others honor, respect, revere, and venerate you for that, on that account, you should think thus: it is towards this mind, body, or assembly of the five aggregates that was earlier fully comprehended that they perform such acts. So this is also another, this is a more sophisticated form of not owning the self, okay, of letting go of the self, right? So this nothing but the five aggregates. So what's there to be, to people say nasty things, the people praise, that's what they're doing. When they understand it, they praise us. When they don't understand it, they attack us. So that's just the way it is. Let us just be calm. So this is another very interesting way, very high level way of letting go in a spiritual sense. The very high level of renunciation. And 40 says that. Therefore, bhikshus, therefore here bhikshus, not Buddha is talking to us. The Buddha is telling us, let go of what is not yours. When you have given it up, it would be for welfare and happiness for a long time. Let go of what is not yours. What is it? What are they? What bhikshus is that is not yours? Form bhikshus is not yours. Let it go. When you have given it up, it will be for welfare and happiness for a long time. Let go of form. Notice the Buddha didn't say let go of the bodies, let go of form. In other words, your idea, my body is like this, my body is like that, I want my body to be like this. No, just let it go. Okay? Then you'll be happy. Feelings, bhikshu, is not yours. Let it go. When you have given it up, it will be for welfare and happiness for a long time. Next time you feel very sad, or extreme, or full of desire, these are feelings. Read this passage to remind yourself. So this is telling yourself the truth. You counseling yourself, self-counseling. Perception is a bit more subtle, more tricky. Perception, bhikshus, is not yours. Let it go. When you have given it up, it will be for welfare and happiness for a long time. Let me give an example here. You see someone, and then you remember, oh, this person did something really bad in the past, and you feel quite angry with him, you want to turn away. So tell yourself, okay, this is what the Buddha said in the Alagaddupama Sutta, you know, I'm letting go of this. So you're more calm. So this is good if you're for your work, you know, you're calm, you're able to control yourself in a good, relaxed way. Formations, right here is before you act, you know, before you decide to do something, you know, in a karmic way. So let it go. Let it go. Don't get involved in that sense, because this is not worth it. When you have given it up, it will be for welfare and happiness for a long time. Finally, consciousness. Consciousness, bhikshus, is not yours. Give it up. When you have given it up, it will be for welfare and happiness for a long time. Here it can be anywhere. What you see, what you hear, what you smell, what you taste, what you touch, what you think. When those things are not helpful, just say, this is what the Buddha taught in Alagaddupama Sutta. Let it go. Let it go. Now the Buddha is going to help us with this practice of renunciation. He gives us a very interesting gardening parable, which you can practice anytime you want. It's a beautiful name. It's called the Jettawana Parable. 41. Bhikshus, what do you think? If people carried the grass, sticks, branches, and leaves of this Jettawana, or burned them, did they like, what they like with them? Would you think people are killing us off, or burning us, or doing what they like with us? No, Bhante, right? So they're sitting in the garden, you see. So if you say, oh, I own this garden, you know, this is my garden, Anattapindika gave this to us, and people are taking away our branches of trees and all these things and burning, you wouldn't say, hey, they're burning me. Of course, in the manner of speaking, we can say, hey, they're burning us, you know, this is our land and we're standing on it. Of course, you can say that, you see. But that's, as I said, that's only a worldly way of speaking. Why not? Continued the Buddha. Because, replied the monks, Bhante, that is neither our self nor the property of ourself. Because those things are just, you know, parts of the trees and the ground and so on. They're not even a part of us, nothing to do with us. Right, the Buddha continues. So too, bhikshus, let go what is not yours. When you have given it up, it will be for welfare and happiness for a long time. So this letting go is very important. Now, I've been teaching Buddhism for more than 50 years now. I'm 70. So you imagine, there's so many difficulties I went through as a Buddhist teacher. I wanted to study suttas, but the place where I was in, people were not interested in suttas. They were more interested in singing and dancing. And they did so much things to distract me, to prevent me from doing what I want to do. Even today, you find not everyone, you know, likes the work I'm doing for various reasons. So we are facing all these things, but you cannot own all this. You cannot say, oh, you know, they're attacking me, and this is my work that they don't like. No, it's not like that. They obviously are not happy. There's something missing in their life. So in fact, you should be showing them compassion. You feel sad for them and you want them to be happy. That's why it's important to send loving kindness to them, so that they're happy. Then they also will feel you not as a threat. All right. So this is the meaning of let go as not yours. Both sides, that is our side and the other person's side also. So if they are listening to this, I know some of them are, there are people listening for them. So when they think in this way, they don't see a threat anymore. They don't see, oh, you know, if Piya knows too much, it's not good for us. They don't worry about that anymore. Because then they say, oh, let us also find out for ourselves. Okay. So this is the meaning here. Let go what is not yours. So the Buddha is going very deep here. No? Form is not yours. Feeling is not yours. Perception is not yours. Formation is not yours. Consciousness is not yours. Notice how opposite this is from politics. Politics will tell you, oh, this is your country, your nation. But there's a different level. Okay, so that one as we say, you give them the benefit of the doubt. That is to, you know, make them happy. But you know why you say it, and you understand the meaning of letting go. Now the last part, the Dharma and its fruit. 42. Bhikshus, the teaching well proclaimed by me, plain, open, clear, free from patchwork, right? This is not something made up. Take a bit here, a bit there. Some religions, you know, they take a bit of this from one religion, a bit of that from another religion, and say, okay, yeah, this is what our prophet taught. So it's not patchwork. In the teaching well proclaimed by me, plain, open, clear, free from patchwork, there is no more round of existence for those bhikshus who are arahats, whose influxes are destroyed, who have lived a holy life, done what is to be done, laid down the burden, reached their own goal, destroyed the fetters of being, and are completely freed through final knowledge, right? So the last part refers to arahats. First, the Buddha says this teaching is from personal experience. I've awakened to this truth, and those who practice this, they are freed, they become arahats. So here again, you see the Buddha saying very clearly, the awakening of the Buddha, awakening of the arahats are the same, right? So this is where if we say, oh, and the Buddha still needs to become a bodhisattva, you are misrepresenting the Buddha. If you say, oh, arahats still not awakened, you are misrepresenting the Buddha. Please, please don't do that. It's very bad karma. It confuses people. It's not going to be helpful to you, right? So here it's very clear in this sutta, Buddha says, don't do that. Don't misrepresent me with those teachings. 43. Bhikshus, the teaching well proclaimed by me is plain, open, clear, free from patchwork. In the teaching well proclaimed by me, free, open, free from clear, free from patchwork, those monks who, with the destruction of the 5 lower fetters, are all spontaneously reborn in the pure abodes, and there attain final nirvana without ever returning from that world. So these are the non-returners, right? So they're not reborn in the sense world anymore. So this is the second kind of saint or true individual, noble individual. In the previous verse, the Buddha mentions arahats, now the non-returners. So here the Buddha in closing are saying, who are those who benefit from the teaching? And it's obvious the next one will be the once returner, right? Bhikshus, this teaching, which is free from patchwork, okay, I'm summarizing. This teaching, which is from personal experience, the Buddha says, there'll be monks who, understanding all this, those monks who, with the destruction of the 3 fetters, okay, and with the diminishing of lust, hate, and delusion, who are once returners. If you remember, I mentioned this also in the TPP 2021. Okay, the different kinds of noble individuals on the path. Okay, and then you got these beautiful diagrams done by Ratna, the PowerPoint diagram showing you the 10 fetters and then how they are given up, and then you get different kinds of saints. So this is the third kind of saint. It is the once returners. And then you have the last one on 45. Bhikshus, the teaching well proclaimed by me is plain, open, clear, free from patchwork. And in this teaching are those monks who, with the destruction of the 3 fetters, are all stream winners. 3 fetters, they are no more bound to the lower world, meaning the sense world. And they are sure to go through the path of self-awakening in a matter of time, 7 more lives at the most. So these are the saints who overcome, they've given up all idea of self-identity, they've given up proud doubt, they've given up attachment to rituals and vows. And that's not all, by the way. The Buddha has a place for us too, who are not awakened. 46. Bhikshus, the teaching well proclaimed by me is plain, open, clear, free from patchwork. And in this teaching are those monks who are truth followers and faith followers, all bound for awakening. Now, truth followers, the 2 kinds. One are those who study the Dharma, ask questions, and what is impermanence and so on. Okay, so that's a truth follower. They become, when they become stream winners, they're also called truth followers, stream winners. Okay, this is truth faculty, our wisdom faculty. Their wisdom faculty is strong. Then you have the faith followers. Faith followers, their faith faculty is strong. then they say, oh, I'm happy to accept what the Buddha taught by faith. I'm happy to accept impermanence. I take it as it is. All right. So when they become streamliners, they're called faith followers, streamliner, right? Before that, they also call faith followers, but not streamliners. So as streamliners, they're all bound for self-awakening. Of course, if you aspire to streamlining, then you will pass away in this life, even especially with the last thought, to become a stream winner through your habitual karma. So you got to build up this karma habitually, studying suttas, calming your mind habitually. And that's how you gain this peaceful state at the end of this life even. There is something here very interesting the Buddha says. The Buddha has a place for those who say, oh, all these suttas are very tough for me and I don't think I can understand. We hear this often, right? Okay, here you are, that this is what the Buddha says for such people. The last part of the sutta, section 47. Bhikshus, the teaching well proclaimed by me is plain, open, clear, free from patchwork. In the teaching well proclaimed by me, plain, open, clear, free from patchwork. Are those monks, remember when you see this word monks, it includes everyone who's listening, yourself, who have just a bit of faith, just a bit of love for me, all bound for heaven. Because not nirvana, okay? So here, if you are positive, you have loving kindness, you say, oh, I'm so happy for the Buddha is so wise and he's my teacher. A bit of faith, a bit of love. No need too much. A bit at least, that's still good. Because that will create this habitual karma for you. Then you'll be reborn in a happy state. But you've got to keep on the momentum of this. Otherwise, you go to heaven and then you get caught in this snakes and ladder game. You go up and down. And then after that, halfway you forget the teaching. So that's not very good, right? So this is a springboard for you to go further, to aspire to stream winning, right? The Blessed One said this, satisfied the monks rejoice, as we rejoice here in the Blessed One's word. Sadhu. Okay, question time.
Thank you, Brother Piya, for explaining the sutta. We welcome questions from everyone now. Please feel free to ask questions live and also can type on the chat box. And we will appreciate if everyone could turn on their video for more interaction. Thank you. Sister Isim, over to you for a question.
Thank you, Sister Wendy. Thank you, Brother Piya, for the sutta teaching. The first question in the chat box is from Go HK.
Okay.
Brother Piya, could you please explain the difference between non-self versus not self, and also in what situation should we use non-self and not self? Thank you.
Okay. The interesting thing is in Pali, they're both the same, anatta. There is a difference. The first thing is, if you're talking about the Buddha's teaching, the word is non-self. I think this is a problem of language, okay? Although I may say this thing, there will always be scholars and intelligent people who say, oh, no, I'm happy with not self, you know. One thing we learn about nature of language in Buddhism is that you say what you like, but be sure to make people understand what you mean by those words, okay? So define your terms, all right? So it doesn't matter what you say, but define your terms always. So what do you mean by this word? Okay, so that's very important. So although I may say, okay, non-self means this, I tell you here now, but someone may say, oh, to me, non-self means that. Then if oh, you have a problem again, who's right, okay? So you got to decide from the suttas, what did the Buddha say? What is this idea of non-self? Now, once you have the idea of non-self, it doesn't matter how people say not self, non-self, you know, the idea is we don't own this body, we only use it. We cannot tell the body, don't change, don't grow old, don't die, don't get sick. It will go on its own course. All that we can do is respect it, feed it properly, give it enough rest, right? We don't own these feelings. They come, pain us, even we say, I don't want suffering, I don't want sorrow, they still come, right? So that's meaning of non-self. Not self is just a negation. This is not self, okay? This is idea of self, something like that. So it's just purely grammatical. So the simple answer I would say is we normally use non-self, okay? There are special grammatical structures when you say not self, so you will know from the context. So don't get too worried about the words, all this other stuff. What is the context? What does this word mean here? What does this author, translator, what is he saying here? Very important. Okay, there's no final word, so to speak, in translation. Okay, translations are always versions of a teaching in a different language. So sooner or later, we got to know some Pali, try to look up what we don't understand. Right. So that's our journey, go nearer and nearer the truth for our own self-understanding. All right. So I'm giving you an open answer. I'm not giving any final answer. I'm not saying that, oh, only this is right. That's it. You know, you got to think for yourself, but this is enough guidance. I'm telling you, go in this direction. I'm not saying you are there already. You know, some people tell you, oh, you are there already. This is the answer. You are there, but you're not there. We're not there yet. So we're still going on this journey. So we still got to find out what's really the meaning of all these things, all these terms. Okay, continue with this.
Thank you, Brother Piya. Now I would like to call Brother S.T. Lee to unmute and ask his question.
Yes. Yes, Dr. Lee.
Piya,
Yes.
thank you very much for your Dharma talk tonight. You told the story about something going wrong with your computer.
Yes.
So I want to ask you, if something drastic happened, in other words, all the work that you have done in your SDs was lost, completely lost. You know, could you tell us what you would have done? Your 40 years of work, you know, what would you have done?
I'm very happy you asked that question. Simple answer, I'll go mad, I think. I think I'll go crazy. I mean, you know, you put in 40 years of work and everything is lost overnight. Naturally, you'll go mad. Naturally, you know? But I already told Radha, I said, Radha, you don't worry. Logically, I will say, so I'm thinking like a Vulcan now. Logically, what should I do? I got to redo everything. That's the most logical thing, right? I have the volumes on my right hand there, everything is there. Volume 1 to the latest 50, volume 57, you know, 58 not printed out yet. It's all there. So I told Rana, I said, you know, I'm willing to restart, rewrite everything. You know, anyone knows, any good scholar will know that when you write something, it's going to be better than the old one. So you're revising the whole. And you all have some of the latest copies. So this is not the first time I lost all my, actually I didn't lose. I thought I lost. Previously, I did lose, you know. Then I contacted you, I said, hey, give back this sutta. Sutta I was collecting what I gave away. So then we put it back together. All right. So occasionally you see at the end of the sutta say, oh, this was reconstructed, you know. So only one or two, the latest ones I have to, you know, I missed out some of the really nice details. So my point is you lose nothing really in the end because you're not awakened. What you have lost is your own unawakening. So what's the big deal, you know? All right. Of course, what you regret is, oh, this time and energy and understanding, right? But then, as I said, you can always start again. You have lost nothing really. What you've lost are just the words or printed things, you know. The sad part is you may not get a future star. They're all gone, see. So anyway, the Buddha teaches us on such an occasion to ask, what do I do next? There's a special teaching where the Buddha says just that, what do I do next? So luckily I have right now to discuss, you know. I say, okay, what shall we do next? Right. So that's okay. This is the thing one by one. So since we can't find all these suttas in our computer right now, it must be in the old computer at the store. So we must go there today, you know. So today in the morning we went to shop there to check, and there it is. I thought there was one drive. Actually, there are 2 drives. I didn't know there were 2 drives there. So there was one drive with 4 terabyte. Everything is there. So we spent about 3 hours downloading everything so that we don't lose all those precious stuff. So there you are. That's a happy story. I'm going to do a reflection on this to dramatize it. So you just wait for it. Okay. All right. Thank you for the question. Okay, let's go on.
Thank you, Brother Piya. The next question from Go HK, referring to paragraph 34, one who has unbolted the door. It refers to the monk who has abandoned the 5 lower fetters.
Yes.
Since this para is referring to an arahant,
it
should be the abandonment of 10 fetters.
Not arahant. No. This is referred to. Oh, I see what you mean. You see, the arahant has abandoned all the 10 fetters. So part of the 10 fetters are the 5 lower fetters. So what the Buddha is saying here is saying in part of the attainment of the arahant. But your observation is good. Your thinking is good. You say, oh, arahant, 10 fetters, right? But here, logically speaking, the Buddha, for example, let's say the Buddha is talking about a professor, you see. You say, okay, a professor has finished his graduate school, you see, right? So it's not that he's still a graduate, you see. So then I say, okay, now after his PhD, you see, like that. So he's just talking about the earlier part of the training. So it's not saying that he is that earlier part of the training. So that's how it should be read, right? He's saying, he's using the idea of unbolting the door. So I think this is where you should see all there are 5 parables here, right? So you should see them all together, or more than 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Actually, there are 7. The last one, unfettered, is together with the previous one. So there you are. So the Buddha is describing an earlier part of the of the qualification or attainment of the arahant. I hope that is clear. But your thinking is good. That you know, the arahants overcome 10 fetters, and the 5 fetters overcome 5 fetters are the non-returners. That is correct too. Okay, next question.
Yeah, sorry, your voice becomes suddenly very soft.
Oh?
Yeah.
How is it now? Is it okay now? How is my voice okay?
It's okay. For me, it's okay.
Okay, yeah. All right. People say it's good, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Brother Piya.
Sure.
The next question from Theo SF. When the Buddha said those who have just a bit of faith, just a bit of love for me, all bound for heaven, does it mean that all Buddhists with faith will be bound for heaven? This sounds like what the Christians popularly advocate, that so long as they believe in Jesus, you go to heaven.
Yes, so this is a very good question. Thank you. So we have to see what the Buddhists mean by faith. Right? Notice we have what I call the 5 faculties, 5 indriyas. First one is faith. Depends on which of these faith or wisdom is strong, right? Here, faith normally has to do with impermanence. Okay, I can have faith in impermanence. It's no problem at all, because when I look all around, I can experience the impermanence. But God is a different problem, you see, because I can't prove it. You see, I have faith in God, but I can't prove it. Whereas if I have faith in impermanence, you can see it. See, that's the first point to know. Number 2, the Buddha didn't say simply have faith in me, right? Because here the Buddha said, if you feel happy, thinking of the Buddha, that joy will bring you heavenly rebirth. So here, this is psychologically, if you like, the thought of happiness, habitual thought of happiness will bring you to this happy rebirth. Okay, and there are no negative thoughts here. In other words, in a sense, the Buddha is not denying other religions. I mean, if people in other religions, you know, they are calm, happy, and they feel good inside. They have no hatred. Okay, they have no hatred. Very important. They're not violent. They don't have hatred. They are reborn in heaven. But what heaven is? Of course, according to the way the Buddhists define it. You see, so they're not going to go to the kind of heaven you see other religions, because the Buddhists don't accept those kind of heavens. So that is, technically speaking, for the other side, it's a bit complicated, if you like. I normally in a public talk we would not talk like that, because those people won't like, say, hey, don't leave my heaven alone. Okay, so coming back to Buddhism, faith here refers to they see the Buddha as someone, they know the Buddha as an awakened one. And I would say for myself that they don't go too far by start saying, oh, you know, many of this Buddha, that Buddha, and so on. It has to be Sakyamuni Buddha. It has to be the historical Buddha. Or simply the idea that there's this awakened one who's free from suffering, who's at peace with himself, and then he thinks of that. So I think that's another way of looking at it in a Dharma way. So I am putting it to simplify how a simple Buddhist would, you know, show this faith, not blind faith, definitely. Yeah? Love here is that sense of like loving kindness, that sense of you feel joyful when you see the Buddha, like when a mother sees a child. Okay? So here, what the Buddha is saying, if you have this positive emotion, that is, at least to that extent, I will accept that you are good. There is hope, all right? So here the Buddha is, in other words, giving an opening to those who are weak Buddhists, to those who are not Buddhists, because there are people who are not Buddhists who say, oh, you know, I really like the Buddha, I respect the Buddha. It's for that kind of people, right? So the Buddha is very rare. I think it's the only place, one of the few places that the Buddha said, make such a statement. This is for those kind of people, right? So, but as for us who are Buddhists, we go much further than this. We work on wisdom, right? Or we do loving kindness, okay? So I hope that answers this part of the difficult part of your question. Eh? Okay, next question.
Thank you, Brother Piya. The next question from Gaur HK. Is the teaching on Amitabha and the Pure Land of the West a misrepresentation of the Tathāgata?
Yes, I would say, from what I understand Buddhism, it would be so. It started in China. You know, they were influenced by other religions. First of all, is Amitabha is not Sakyamuni Buddha. Amitabha is boundless light. Some scholars say this idea came through the influence of the Zoroastrianism, some Persian religion of the god of light, the god of darkness, you know. And then we talk about paradise, and this paradise is kind of eternal. So my guess, this is probably the influence of early Christianity, because as you know, Mahayana started around the same time as the rise of Christianity. It is something not a well-known idea, but if you look at the rise of Christianity and the rise of Mahayana, they kind of happen around the same time. And in a sense, it's easier to explain all those strange ideas of the Mahayana, which are not found in the early Buddhism. This is very controversial. So, you know, some people who are strong, non-Theravada, non-early Buddhists are going to take a stand and argue. That's why here we make a stand. We say here we only talk early Buddhism. We're not going to argue about other religions. You are free to believe what you want. No one can stop you. We are free to believe what we want to. That's all we are saying. So let us follow our way. You follow your way. That's fine. But we have to be very clear about what we don't agree with. But it doesn't mean we deny you. It doesn't mean we hate you. It doesn't mean we don't allow you to exist. No, none of this. We're just saying, please do not misrepresent the Buddha. The Buddha did not teach these things. So we cannot accept it, because then it will be on our authority. We have no such authority, all right? So we don't believe in those things, because those things have been taught us again and again since childhood. We're hearing a lot of these things. It's a very popular thing until we get used to it through conditioning instead of thinking, finding out, investigating. So in that sense, we reject it, okay, in a friendly way, all right? Okay.
Okay, thank you, Brother Piya. The next question from Jedrin Chan.
Yes.
Can you please explain what is form and formation?
Oh, okay. So it must be new, huh? Okay, form is a word referring to the body, not just human body, any kind of physical body, basically made up of the 4 elements: earth, water, fire, wind. In other words, there are solid aspects like bones, skin and teeth, liquid aspects like blood, sweat, tears, fire or heat aspect, temperature, body warmth, and then it also means decay, fire. And then wind aspect is motion, movement, they can move themselves. And then there's breath in, breath out. Okay, so that is form. Formation, the Pali word is sankhara. It refers to a mental activity when we decide to do something, and the action is motivated or rooted either with greed, hate, or delusion. That's bad karma. If it is the opposite, your action is motivated by non-greed, that means contentment or renunciation, and then non-hate, that means loving kindness, or non-delusion, wisdom, then it is good karma. All right, so that's formation. So formation refers to karma. So these are the 2 words are different in that sense. So keep it simple. Okay. If you want more information on this, then attend the talk called the BMM 2021. BMM 2021. Okay. But you must start from lecture 1. Otherwise, it's very interesting. I say it's very interesting, but some people may say it's very difficult. So you should have some basic background. If you enjoy reading, you'll be okay, But if you're a total beginner, then attending such this sutta class would be a good start. And ask the question which you don't understand yet. So don't worry, start at your level. Okay. Okay, go on, please.
Thank you, Brother Piya. The next question from Rachel. What or who is Upasana Vangata? I saw this term while reading your commentary.
He's one of the monks. One of the monks. You have to look up in the index of names. His details are there. Okay. In fact, whenever you see those names in the suttas, you look at the note, at the footnote, there will be a cross-reference there. Otherwise, you can look him up details in the Dictionary of Pali Proper Names, which is, there are many versions available online, they're very easy to use. DPPN, Dictionary of Pali Proper Names. I encourage everyone to download this Dictionary of Pali Proper Names. Very easy to use, and all the details are there. Upasena, Wanganta Buddha. Anyway, email me if I can send you the details once I put back the computer. Okay, he's one of the Buddha's Arahat disciples. Upasena, by the way, is also the monk name of my abbot in Wasakhet, Bangkok. Okay, let's go on. Yes, next question.
I think there is no more questions
no more.
in the chat box. Anyone else would like to ask question? Please feel free to do so. We have a bit more time.
Yes, we have about 10 minutes. I was worried there won't be enough time today, so it's good. Start time.
Yes.
Next lesson, we'll be doing a very interesting one on the Sigalovada Sutta. Okay. In fact, we have taken one session of the Sigalovada Sutta. I thought we need 3 sessions, but actually calculated. This is a long sutta, so we gave it 2 slots, and Sigalovada Sutta originally was 3 slots. I think 2 slots should be enough. Okay. Any questions from the floor? Just you can put up your hand or type it. This is our double session talk. Yeah?
Any more questions, everyone? Please feel free to ask. Should we end early today, Brother Piya?
No, it's okay. We will just, relax a bit, sit quietly. I'm sure something will come up, and then you can say something if you like, and something brief, not more than 2 minutes if you wish to say something, or you can ask questions.
Oh, does someone raise a hand?
Yeah, okay. I have
Okay.
a casual question.
Uh,
I have a casual question.
LCO, is it?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Thinking
Yeah.
that I remember reading the sutta or somewhere, there is a saying that we, while practicing until a certain level, we may have to abandon the Dharma. Or not so-called abandon the Dharma, is that we should not be clinging on the Dharma, and then we will not be able to move on.
Did you attend the first talk? You probably did not, right?
Sometimes I miss my talk.
No, I mean this particular. Did you attend the previous one? You missed it, right?
Yeah, I missed it. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. Because you just need to watch that first part. The full answer is there. In fact, you're referring to this sutta where we are studying, because this is the second part. Yeah, the second part. But anyway, for your benefit, the meaning is this: when we study Buddhism, we are dealing with ideas, with views. Okay, even like for myself, you see, like just say I'm 50 years of Buddhist. You know, actually earlier before they also had Buddhist ideas. Let's say. And I look back, I find that there's so many ideas that I have to change. Now, when you change an idea, it means you're giving up an old idea, see? Right? So there you are. You're giving up past Dharma. It's not Dharma, it's your understanding of the Dharma, you see? So we're not giving up Dharma. We're giving up our misunderstanding of the Dharma. We are renewing, we are learning new things. So that's the meaning. But before you learn new things, you have to let go of the old things. So that's the meaning here. So is that clear enough for you? Okay. All right. So there's a baby then, huh? Okay. All right, it's gone.
Ma.
Okay. Happy smile.
1, 2, 3. Smile.
Yeah.
It's good. Okay. One more. 1, 2, 3. Smile. Okay, very good. Thank you.
You know, the fact that we all can gather together here from all over the place is amazing. I've always, when I look at the screen, I said, this is really wonderful. You know, we have cut through time. We are really old friends. You know, we were very young ones, you know, 50 years later, and amazing, we have kept in touch. The Dharma has helped us, kept us together. This is really amazing. It's one thing. And when we keep this kind of wonderful atmosphere together, we bond happily together again in the future. So it's very important to keep this metta with one another going, right? So we have strength in friendship. We have good friendship. This is also called kalyana mittata, spiritual friendship in that sense. Okay. Otherwise, we end up as a band of thieves, you know, like Alibaba. We become a group of really bad people. That's the other extreme. So here, we gather together. It's interesting. Some of us will never meet anyways. We're living in different parts of the world, but here we are, listening to Dharma, and to be able to meet today, right? Because some people don't have the timing is different now. So that's why we have another session. On Sunday morning. This for those part of the world which cannot attend the talk at this time. It's for those in, you know, America and so on. So on Sunday morning at 10 a.m. we have this talk on the 5 aggregates. Okay. So check out the Telegram t.me/Sutta Sangha. Okay, it's all there, Sutta Sangha. Eh? Now, Sutta Sangha here, we are using the word Sangha as Sutta and Sangha. Not that we are a Sangha who follow Sutta, no. In America, they like to use the word Sangha in the sense of community or even church, if you like. Okay? Whereas here, we just say Sutta and Sangha. We learn the Sutta so that we can respect the noble Sangha, Sutta Sangha. Okay? We got a few more minutes, couple more minutes. Okay, anyone, any last question? Is there any announcement that anyone wants to make? I mean, Ratna or SKE?
So far, we don't have anything. Maybe anybody got any questions you can put forth now? We still got some time here.
Okay.
Maybe one quick one. There
Okay.
is this Theravada and Mahayana. So how do we mingle around?
So how do we mix them?
How do we mingle around the group?
Or how do you adjust to them? How do you treat them? Is it?
Yes, so we are Theravada, then
Yeah.
Mahayana.
That's the thing about Buddhism, you know. We easily, you go to any temple, you find almost all kinds of Buddhists around there. And we have no problem, especially eating vegetarian food or eating together, we're always happy. The funny thing is, in the manner of speaking, you know, the Buddhists are divided up by Buddhism itself, have different beliefs in Buddhism. And not only that, so within the same tradition like Theravada, you have these Buddhists divided up by different teachers, you know. So this is quite a tricky problem. Of course, it's not common to, not only rare to Buddhism, it happens everywhere because people want to feel comfortable by saying, oh, okay, my belief is right. Only my belief is right. But then, you know, there are many levels of rightness. So now, as I said, although, you know, it took me many, many years, you know, 5 decades, you know, to come to my stand now for simple logic and simple understanding. I told myself, there's no such thing as this. I need not believe in this. This is what the Buddha said, so I accept this, you know. So there was a time in my early days as a Buddhist monk, I was trying to make everybody happy. So I was trying to explain Kuan Yin from Theravada point of view. That was difficult, you know. And in the end, I find I can't, you know. It's like you're getting married and you are eyeing someone else's wife, which is wrong, you know. I mean, you can't be treating so many things. And then name the Buddha, which is the Buddha didn't teach, you know. So I had to decide, well, I have to, you know, keep my mind very clear. This is what I want to accept, right? So this is something you can make a stand. But it doesn't mean that I don't reject the Christians. I have nephews and nieces who are non-Buddhists, and many of them, I mean, they're good people. So we don't reject them. I mean, we have other people who are non-Buddhists and so on. I have very good Hindu friends, Muslim friends. We don't reject them. Now, if we don't reject them, we can talk a very nice, friendly way with them. We should accept, no problem accepting Buddhists too, you see. As long as you don't discuss the difficult problems of Buddhism. So that part, you keep it private. You say, okay, you have your belief, I have my belief. Okay, maybe one day we can, if there is an intra-Buddhist dialogue, they should have this intra-Buddhist dialogue. The Buddhists themselves must have a dialogue because they believe in different things and they have to discuss this. Inter-dialogue, very easy, you know. Intra-dialogue, more difficult because we're talking about from the same religion, so to speak. So, of course, there's no problem. We meet each other as Buddhists, you know, and we talk as humans to each other. That's how you respect people as humans. Okay. So that's the simple answer. Nah? Oh, I see you. Brother, you're advertising your building company, is it? Yeah. Please don't advertise. Okay. I mean, we don't judge advertisement, but we don't encourage it either. Okay. Now, of course, you have to excuse me because I'm straight talking. Sometimes I feel it saves time, you know, and sometimes you go around, people don't know what you're talking. Also. So I've come to a point where, you know, partly my training as a scholar, you have to be very clear of what you're saying. And you know, some of these traditional Buddhists are not happy with it because they don't like the truth. You know, they just say, don't talk about this thing, talk about nice things, and we can get along well. My business will go well, your business will go well, and then we go home. You know, I think Buddhism is much more than that. We have to grow as individuals. Our children must learn to think. We should not be conditioning our children early to celebrate Christmas, for example. That's a terrible thing to do. You know, they're going to be Christians one day. And then, you know, what's going to happen to you as you grow old? See? So don't do that, please. If you really accept the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, think carefully about what's the right human thing to do. Other cultures are watching us, you know. So these are things that we have to be circumspect about. Okay, so that's my last advice, closing advice to you. Be Buddhist, value being Buddhist, because that's the Buddhism we deserve. We deserve the best, and then you will get the best. Otherwise, you will not get the best. Then you start running around like a headless chicken, looking for so many other things. In the end, you have nothing. Don't do that. Okay, the Dharma is beautiful. It will teach you calmness of mind, freedom of mind, and freedom from suffering. Okay, looks like we have slightly past the time, so we can close now.
Okay, thank you very much, Brother Piya. Thank you everyone for your questions. We will close our session for today with the closing puja.
Right. So as usual, let us spend this quiet moment remembering this, the good deed we have done today. We have reflected, we have recited the 5 precepts. If you don't know what the precepts are, find out. We have done some meditation, so we have practiced sila, moral virtue, samadhi, meditation. Then we are cultivating our wisdom, listening to the suttas. So these are very important moments. Remember this when in your meditation, it will help you when you practice. At this point, also send your thoughts first to yourself. May I be well? May I be happy and healthy, so that in these difficult times, I will be able to study the Dharma, help others, bring happiness to others too. May my relatives, friends, neighbors, family be well and happy. Even my enemies, may they be happy when they see me, may they be good people. Send your thoughts to people who are sick, people who need your attention. On that positive note, let us close by reciting the closing salutations, paying our respect to the 3 jewels. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi. To the Buddha. Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami. Padang to the Dhamma. Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Sanghang Namami. Padang to the Sangha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, so thank you for your time and attendance. You've made a sacrifice of renunciation.
Thanks to
Thank
all
you.
of you.
Thank you, Brother
Thank you,
Piya.
Brother Piya. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Yes,
See everyone in the next class.